Hey everyone, Golden Bull here with the last video of Let's Play 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Well, I shouldn't say last because, okay, so to reiterate from the last video, I did beat the game, but there was a huge cutscene slash epilogue that came afterward that wasn't recorded because the game actually blocks the recording at that point. So, yeah, I saw what eventually the events after the battle, which I gotta say, I loved it all. I love the conclusion to the character arcs, the relationships and whatnot, the banter, the witty humor. I loved it all. The character dynamics. And okay. So more to the point, I guess I should start off with, just to get my thoughts out. I really did enjoy this game a lot. So, I mean, I really love the references. There are quite a few pop culture references, and I love the way they really incorporated that into the gameplay and the narrative. It was really well done. And I do love the style. I love the art. The battle was really fun. As someone who loves strategy games and whatnot, I love jumping into that and moving my characters around and going about the battles in different ways. I enjoy that. Story? Yeah, really enjoyable. Yeah, I know it's not for everyone. It's very visual novel based, but at the same time, it's so engaging and it keeps you engaged by just having you question every little thing, every event, and keeps you guessing, and that makes the experience really enjoyable. And then going into what happened after the fight. So after the fight, you realize, hey, you've been setting this whole situation to where you would be able to come out of, well, the characters will be able to come out of their stasis, I guess you could say, as their bodies have been maturing to where they could withstand living out into the world, the new terraformed Earth that's millions of light years away from where Earth originally was. And so they had to do that whole setup, and they reached the end. They reach the point where their bodies mature to where they're 18, and then finally they receive a notice that, okay, you guys have reached a mature age, well, not a mature age, but a required age, and now you will undergo life training, basically. All the essentials, everything you need to know for when you turn 20, you will finally be released from your pod and you can go out into the world and live your life. So we saw the characters come out. The main two being, well, the ones in the cutscene being Juro, Kurabe, and Megumi Yakushiji. Now, as I said before, that relationship, maybe I'm just, yeah, out of all the relationships, that's my least favorite one. I would even say the past AI Tomi Kisaragi with Tetsuya Ida is a bit more understandable, as slightly toxic as it is, and I did not appreciate Tetsuya Ida going the way he did. It was still more of a believable relationship than what we got from Megumi and Juro. Because you can think of it this way, not to go on too much of a tangent, but I mean, this is essentially the love of his life, and from what we saw, and from what we can gather from the clues, they had just gotten together maybe like a few years past. They were in their maybe early 20s when Tomi Kisaragi finally died at the hands of Juro, supposedly. Well, no, yeah, it was Juro, or an accident, so to speak. She dies. The man loses it. Tetsuya Ida is goal-oriented to bring her back at the cost of everything. He became a demon. and it's understandable. I mean, it's wrong. He should have respected Tomi's wishes, but the man was determined to do anything and everything to get her back. And at the end, they reconcile, and honestly, it was cute. I mean, he has a lot to make up for. He's done a lot of horrendous things, and he was going to do. So he shouldn't get off scot-free. But at the same time, the way they concluded his arc, you feel for the man, crazily enough. But yeah, he does have to pay for what he's done. And then we also got some reconciliation between Juro Izumi and the nurse. The name is escaping me. But yeah, they reconciled because, well, one, I mean, there was always love there, and two, we found out later that Juro Izumi did in fact kill his friends in a certain other loop. But yeah, there's more to that, which I also want to look into, because throughout the whole game, sorry, I'm going off on tangents. Because there's a lot of reconciliation at the end of the game for many of the characters, but we can't forget that they did in various loops. I'm going to go with loops. They did terrible things, and that shouldn't be forgotten. But I guess if you could look at it as things being reset each time they came back, then you could say, well, they started over, they're free of that sin from the previous loop, I guess you could say, but not really. It's really complicated when you really dive into it. Because yeah, at one point, if we're to take it literally, then yes, in one loop, Juro Izumi was, willing to do everything to stop Operation Aegis, to the point where he killed the candidates, which included Megumi, Iori, and even Shio Miguchi, until he was stopped. So, that's just one example of things we, in another situation, another loop, the characters commit acts that are terrible. Same with Tetsuya Ida, again. But anyway, I digress. Going back to the game, yeah, still quite a bit more to do, as you can see, and furthermore, this area unlocked, and I'm really interested in how this is incorporated into the story, so I might do more on this. I'm really not sure. I want to check it out. Maybe this is like a post game, since we know the characters are going more into what we saw in the cutscene. The characters go back 5 years later into their respective virtual bodies to interact with the characters that we've known so far, because they're either AI or they're permanently stuck in that in these sectors, in this world, this virtual world. So if they want to interact with them, especially with their friends, like Miwako, for example, then they would have to go back into that to the virtual bodies to do that. Even though in the real world, yeah, they're like they're 25. They're all 25 from what I know. Some of them have kids, some of them getting married, etc. What else? Yeah, at the end of the final battle was insane. I barely made it through that, and it was so chaotic that I only noticed the banger OST going off when I was doing the rewatch. And there were like multiple tracks that were going on, and I do love the soundtrack for this game. Very technically, very Sci-fi vibes, love it. What else do I want to say? Needless to say, the art style was amazing. The dialogue was fun. And I can't stop gushing over how well they intertwined. Because obviously they took some inspiration from pop culture films and big sci-fi movies, sci-fi theories, etc. And the way they just meshed it all together, it was really well done, really enjoyable. So that's a big high. That's a big high point for me for this game. Replayability, it's just gonna come down to doing the areas again now that I'm fully upgraded. I can just jump back in, give it a try. I'm trying to get some of these to S. I don't know if I can unlock all the analysis points with what I have. Yeah, mystery follows. Yeah, since I have a lot of points. Yeah, quite a few of these are updated. Anything that isn't unlocked, I can do it here. I can try doing that. And go over all this later just to confirm. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to go over all of this on my own time, but I'm going to save you guys the trouble of me, you know, reading through all this. And I'll probably post a final analysis, final thought in my, whatchamacallit, in my description of the video. I wonder if I can get them all. I have a lot. I still have like 42. Ooh, okay. I might not be able to. Hang on. Still analyzing. Got a trophy. Ah, the 3 laws. Oh, almost there. Still got 17, 16 left. Oh no, I'm not gonna have enough. Ah, so close. Okay. So yeah, a couple S ranks. I need what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'm close. 95%. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say, is there any replayability for the remembrance part? Because once you do it, it's already done. And I think in analysis, you can jump between scenes if you really wanted to. I suppose if you just really wanted to go through a certain segment again. I don't know. Because yeah, I mean, it'd be easier to jump to a scene here. Yeah. Just focus on one character, I guess. But yeah, this was a really well put together game. I would say yeah, there's hardly any negative thing I could say about it, except for like maybe the segment where oh, there we go, Iori Fuyusaka, where you had to interact with the cat. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like you get stuck there for like 10 minutes trying to figure out how to interact with that cat when you don't realize you have to like speak to your friends first and then go back. But it kind of like points you in the way of, hey, maybe I should like slowly walk toward the cat to get it to talk to me or interact, etc. So it was a pretty, that was kind of weird, the way that was set up. There was also another segment where you're in the basement in the future, and I believe you're Sekigahara, yeah. You have the androids coming at you from both sides, and you don't know what to do. You try to run to either side, and if you do that, you die. And what essentially you're supposed to do is just stay in place until finally something happens. So it's one of those things where you have to be kind of intuitive to get out of it, otherwise you're stuck. And no, but the rest of the game was still straightforward. There was only like 2 or 3 sections where... No, not sections. Moments. Because they were very minuscule moments in the grand scheme of the game, but you know what I mean. Battles were all solid. The upgrading system is really fun too. Yeah, just the way you can customize everything and whatnot. You have the upgrades to the weapons. Some weapons I didn't even get completely. And then there's the character skills, which I haven't even unlocked everything. The upgrades for Sentinels, you could do that too. Yeah, just a lot of combinations. The terminal upgrades. The way you can mix and manage your team. There's some... You could really macromanage here just because I never really paid attention. But the defensive team also has their own gear, which might be convenient in certain situations. So it's stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, if you're just focused on your offense, you should be fine. As you saw, I cleared the game. Difficulty... It didn't get really difficult until the 3rd area. That's where things really took a jump compared to the first 2. And yeah, you really had to have your equipment upgraded. And yet, intense is doable. And there's a casual difficulty too. But yeah, no, it was a challenge in certain moments. I gotta give it that. Definitely kept me on my toes. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna enjoy diving into this more, just to really flesh out the little details of the game. And also I want to unlock all of the analysis section. But man, what a game. I'm sad it's over. Damn. It's crazy. And you know, when I was looking into the game, a lot of people say, hey, this game is amazing, I just don't know how to explain it. And they're right. It's not a game you could easily explain. You could give someone the gist of it, but like to really capture what the game is, no, you have to play it. There's no way. Oh, man. Also, now I can really look into the soundtrack without spoilers. I'm really curious. And looking at all the characters. Yeah, best boy. Yeah, definitely Miura. Keitaro Miura. Best girl would be... You know what? I'm gonna give it to Natsuno. Yeah. Natsuno, and then second would probably be Yuki Takamiya for me. Probably most tragic would be Ryoko Shinonome, because it's just so unfair what was going on to her. And I'm glad, because it doesn't seem like she's super affected by what's happened. So, like in the post-epilogue, she's going about her life pretty well. You know, she's engaged in research and whatnot. Shumamaguchi was also like a second best boy, not even gonna lie. No, ooh, wait, no. Ooh, Nenji. You know what? Yeah, it's Keitaru, Nenji, and then Shu Amaguchi. Yeah, that's like my order. And Joe's just like a solid character. He's a protagonist, you know? He's got that protagonist vibe. Yori's great. Yeah, I just love all the characters. Hijiyama though. Hijiyama's fun. He's great. He's a fun character. He's really cool. Really committed to the cause. And his character dynamic with Okino. I don't even know how that ended up. It's wild at the end. Absolutely wild, but fun. I love him. I love him and Okino together. Yeah, such a great game. I think that covers everything that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, from now it's just going to be me handling the cleanup on certain things. And checking out this later. How many waves is this? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 12 wave. I believe 12 or 13 waves. Interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, as you can see, I got a D rank for the fight. The final one. Crazy. Very interesting. Okay, that's all for me. If there's anything else I want to say, if anything else comes to mind, I will post it in the description. But yeah, that was 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. For me, that's an easy... Is it? No. Yeah. 10 out of 10 game for me. If I really wanted to nitpick, I'd say a 9.7. Like I said, those little details and some of the story elements. But besides that, yeah. Phenomenal game. This has been Golden Boy. Thank you so much for joining me on this series. And until the next one, take care.